is the inside story of how I got inside Melania. Now, a few years ago, I was doing a stand-up set at Parks Casino, and it was about myself, looking at myself in a picture and reflecting that it reminded me of Melania Trump. Miserable, but trying. When I got off stage, the club booker pulled me aside and said, "Lauren, you have to do an impersonation of Melania Trump." At that point, I did solely original characters, like, the Warring Sisters, Carmela and Rosa, Driving with Dad, Jeff, the South Shore Secrets. And the idea of doing an impersonation, especially with someone at that level, was super terrifying. So I spent a lot of time preparing, researching, thinking about, I use a lucid body technique, putting that on it. And I remember showing the first person, someone I was working with on some scripts I was going over for the first set of videos I made. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to do this for you. It's going to be terrible. Like, basically in my head, I didn't say that, but I was like, this is going to be horrible. I was just so nervous, even just showing it to him. And he was like, "Oh, that's a great impression." I was like, oh, solid. And I wasn't just trying to just get something that sort of sounded like it. I was listening to her voice, reading articles about who she was, trying to imagine what it was like to be in her body. So I made a few videos and I thought, oh, that's it. Okay, that's that. And I'm going to be done with that. Well, the videos did pretty well. Then I went to Pride, and that's where things really took off. I started to get like a lot of texts and emails and messages from people saying, "You gotta dig more into this. This is so good." So, and the Pride, I should share, it was really fun. I held a sign that said, "Crying since 2016." Or I also cried on election night. That's it. I also cried on election night. And it was such an incredible moment of empathy between her. I don't believe she's someone who's like a super kind-hearted person or really cares about anyone but herself, but that is a thing she cares about, and that's a thing we care about, and we could bond over. The next year, we also went to Pride. I had a posse with me, and I was holding a sign that said "Crying since 2016," and you flipped it over, and it said "Any Dem 2020," which, depending on when you're listening to this, if you're in the future, does it work out okay? Are we okay? So then I decided to start a social media channel, Instagram @FlotusOfficial. And then someone invited me to do a Halloween show. And I thought, okay, I'll do stand-up as Melania. I guess I'll see how that goes. And it went really well. And I'm like, fuck, I think I gotta go on this. I think I gotta move with this. It's growing. And I started doing stand-up in character. And let me tell you, it's not a friendly thing to do. People are not happy. Comedians are not happy when you're doing in an open mic environment or in a show even and trying out this material. There's a lot of resistance to characters, but I did it nonetheless. Some people are really excited about it, but there's some purist stand-up people who are not big fans. But nevertheless, through all of that, I kept going because the response from the audience, you, the most important, was so positive. I felt like I was able to bring light to a very difficult situation. And also, as I started to do my research and following the news cycle around her, I know every single article that's coming out, have her on Google Alert, have for years. And seeing how the administration uses her in order to support their aims. She is complicit in their maneuverings. And we're supposed to imagine that she is just this softening force to Donald with some sort of conscience. They do that so that moderates will vote for him. And I made it my mission at that point to work against that force. And here you go. I have a stand-up act, a touring show, and this book, Inside Melania, What I Learned About Melania Trump by Impersonating Her. It's a mix of just some polemical pieces of me just telling you like it is what I know about her, and then using that as a jumping off point for humor pieces. Like, I have diary entries from these like missing years when she was in Europe modeling. I imagine what her diary entries might have looked like. I imagined, hey, like if she had to make a museum exhibit based on the Trumps, what would she do? So imagine that. There's like a lot of really fun departures. Rich Scheidner, who wrote a review of the book very generously, he said, "You used every device in the English language to write this book." And I feel like I did. I threw everything but the kitchen sink at it and had a really good time, put my heart and soul into it. And I hope that you learned something about Melania, about yourself, about humanity, about what it is to be a character like her in the public eye. At heart, I hope it just brings you closer to your humanity and brings you light in these very dark times. No matter if you buy this book or not, and I hope you do, but I love you if you don't. Just be freaky, be weird, make art. I love you. Mwah.